Let's get 300 Lacey W's down below. We're all caught up. Appreciate y'all for that love. Mike, appreciate you for the patience. The mic and the floor are yours. I want to know how the hell you could still support Trump, especially after this terrible war in Iran and the terrible expansions that we've seen in the last 48 hours.
Well, I'm not a big fan of the ICE strategy he had here in Minnesota. That pissed me off. But with Iran, I think that's something that needed to get done and should have gotten done probably 30 years ago. Iran's been a problem not only in their neck of the woods, but around the entire world. And I'm glad that we're partnering up with Israel and finally doing something to put it to an end. Where are you at on that?
I mean, I agree with the first part of that statement. The government of Iran is a fucking problem. Okay, that's not contestable. I mean, they are like terroristic theocracy hell-bent on the oppression of their people. You know, there's actually a mutual of mine whose grandma and aunt are in Iran, and when their aunt was pregnant, she was beat to the ground by members of their government. Okay, for speaking out of line. Okay, no one supports or endorses that shit. But I heavily disagree with the second 50% of what you said. All right, because you said we should have done this 30 years ago. Well, one of the largest examples of state-sponsored terror in the leadership of said state-sponsored terror was nobody other than Saddam Hussein, right? We took him out. You know, what were Americans saying back then? How to be done? What were the Iraqis and the Afghanis doing? Celebrating in the streets, dancing, okay? Because we just took out Saddam Hussein, a brutalistic dictator that needed to go. What did that create? A power vacuum. A 20-year endless war where over 1 million Iraqis and Afghanis died. Hundreds of thousands of Americans, too, lost their lives. And then what did we leave? A power vacuum that then led to the overthrow of another authoritarian regime, the Taliban in Afghanistan. History proves, okay, that U.S. interventionism doesn't work for solving the issue, okay, because our objective is not the liberation of the people in the area, but rather the extraction of either profit through war or minerals through oil.
I'd say it's never ever going to work in Afghanistan. I mean, the Soviets tried it back in the 80s. We took a stab at it back in the 2000s. You're never going to flip Afghanistan into like a modern country. That's a lost cause. With Iraq, I got to say that it's better there now than it was before we intervened. And we did intervene for the wrong reasons. We got some report about they had weapons of mass destruction. They obviously didn't. We all got taken for a ride on that. But with Iran, I feel like there is a real glimmer of hope that that country can be turned around. I do have a family relative that is from Iran originally. He has not been able to go back since the mid-'80s. He's lost a lot of family members that he hasn't been able to see and be with, you know, in their last years. So I see Iran being flipped as a good thing. And yeah, I got my fingers crossed that they can get a decent government in there in a timely manner. And it's probably going to take at least a year. What do you think? Is there a chance for Iran that we can turn that into a democracy, or is it just going to be another Afghanistan?
Iran, by the way. But anyways.
Okay, Iran.
So sorry, it was annoying me a bit. Now, here's the thing. You said that, well, you'd have no hope if we were to attempt to do this in Afghanistan because we've already tried it in Afghanistan and failed. Well, what if I told you that we've already tried something similar in Iran? We have, okay? 1953, CIA couped their leadership, okay, replaced him with somebody that we installed. That led to the current regime who's in power via their overthrow in the 70s, okay? We've already tried it, man. We already have. We've already done the whole regime change thing, okay?
So is it better just to leave it alone?
Like, well, listen, I have a bad gut feeling when I think about just leaving it alone and doing nothing, but I just happen to have a worse gut feeling, okay, going in there and bombing the fuck out of them, all right, because of what history has proven. I think that maybe we should try to find politicians more similar to what we saw under the Obama administration, working closely with a country like Oman, okay, who has good diplomatic relationships with Iran to negotiate better diplomatic agreements like the JCPOA that we had under Obama, right? I think that there is a very good way, okay, to channel diplomatic negotiations and relations through Iran, through Oman, okay, that we need to be taken advantage of. I just don't think that Donald Trump is competent enough as a leader in order to get the job done.
Well, we did partner with Israel. I mean, that helps. And we did try
No.
the diplomatic thing for the
No.
last 30 years with sanctions, and
And
that
it worked.
did nothing.
And it worked with the
How did it
JCPOA. It
work?
did nothing. Well, we got the JCPOA out of it. We got them to stop making nukes. We got them to get rid of all of their enriched uranium. We got them to give us 24/7 access to all of their enrichment sites. Then Trump pulled us out.
We can agree to disagree there, but
What are we
I
disagreeing
feel
on?
like
Specifically, what are we disagreeing on?
I'm sure that they were still making enriched uranium
There's no evidence of that.
while Obama was there,
No evidence.
while Trump was there,
One
while
moment.
Biden was
no
in.
evidence. Sorry, no evidence.
Oh,
There's so much
Like I
evidence
said,
that they didn't. Like we have
I agree
so
with you
much
on a-
evidence that they didn't.
Dean, I agree with you.
Oh, you cut out.
On this one, we're not going to agree, but I'm not going to
Okay.
suck
okay.
up all your airtime.
Then you're irrational. I'm sorry. You're irrational if you
Okay,
disagree.
I'm irrational
Let me
then.
tell you why. Let me tell you why. Because there's no
Okay.
evidence that they were enriching uranium after the oh my goodness, JCPOA was put into place under the Obama administration. And there's a lot of evidence that they weren't enriching uranium because we had 24/7 access to surveillance feed of all their enrichment sites. And we had 300 in-person visits per year to all of their enrichment sites. And we personally oversaw the deconstruction of their enrichment facilities inside of the sites. And we personally saw the sale of all of their enriched uranium. And then the IAEA also continued to monitor their uranium enrichment during the totality of the deal being in place. There is a direct connection, okay, between Donald Trump repealing that deal, all right, and what we see today with him using weapons of mass destruction as a basis to make quote-unquote preemptive strikes on the country, preemptive my ass, to start a war.
Well, look what Iran did to all the neighboring countries once that started. They started bombing everywhere, like Qatar and Oman, was it, and Saudi Arabia. They
You're
weren't
already
shooting
wrong.
missiles over.
You're already
How am I
wrong.
wrong?
I
How am
don't
I
think
wrong?
they've. I don't think they've bombed Oman in a very long time. Sorry, Oman.
Okay,
I don't-
but
I
they
don't know-
did
I don't-
bomb
I don't know
Saudi
what
Arabia.
I don't know why I want to call it Omar. I want to call it Oman. That's what it's called.
They did bomb Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia
Okay,
had nothing
but
to
you're
do.
but you're jumping around the point because the point that I was contesting is when you suggested that they continued to enrich uranium while the JCPOA was in place, which is false.
We don't know that. I think they did.
What's
You
your
say
evidence?
they didn't. Because they don't listen to anybody, dude. I mean, Iran is going to do what they want. That's
Okay.
what they've been
But-
doing for 30 years.
But
They're going to continue to do that.
But they weren't just telling us that they weren't enriching uranium. We verified that claim every day, like literally every day.
Did it get any better for the people in Iran?
Okay, before we talk about the people of Iran, I want you to respond to my last comment.
Is it Iran or Iran?
Iran.
Okay. No, I'll concede that point.
Okay.
Maybe they weren't making enriched plutonium under Obama
Right. Yeah. You're
and
right.
Biden.
Yeah.
Whatever. Sure.
Can I ask you another question?
Sure.
And this is just going back to domestic politics. Okay?
Okay.
Because I think that Donald Trump started this war in Iran to distract us away from the Epstein files. What are your thoughts on only 3 million of the 6 million Epstein files that we know exist being publicly released? And then the DOJ saying that they're not going to release any more, even though that's in violation of the Epstein Files Transparency Act. What are your
I
thoughts?
think you're right.
on Donald
I
Trump
think you're
illegally
right.
redacting his own name from the files over 950,000 times? And what are your thoughts on Donald Trump illegally hiding files accusing him of raping a child?
I think he's guilty of all of it.
And you support him as president?
No, I support this action that we're doing right now. I don't support him as a good president. I didn't vote for him. I'm not Megan.
You're not a Trump supporter?
No, I'm an independent.
Oh, I thought I asked you if you supported Trump when you first joined.
I support this action that we're doing
Okay.
right now.
Well, we're looking to talk to Trump supporters. I hope that maybe some of the thoughts in which I shared with you, right, on the war in Iran change your mind. And I also just want to let you know that you're like, part of like the 5%. I think I saw a poll. Only around 5% of independents support the war in Iran. But you take care, man. We're just looking to talk to people that support Trump. But I mean, I appreciate you for the conversation on what's going on in Iran nonetheless. Let's go.